Guys, how are you? So just wanted to do a quick little video today about pivoting. I'm currently in the middle of a move, so I'm packing up my house, so everything is everywhere, but this felt really important to do, so I'm just sitting down to do it. So the sound will be really weird and echoey because my office is basically empty, but I feel like this is important. So pivoting, we talk about pivoting in life. We talk about steps to things, and we talk about how excuse me, you take a step, you do step one, step two, a recipe, packing up the house, for instance. You know, there's certain things you've got to do to get to where you've got to go, and that's cool. But not everything that you do in life is going to be a step or require a step. Sometimes it just requires a pivot. So I was given this thing about vision and how I'm looking forward now at the camera, and I can see you and I can see a wide range of things in my peripheral vision, but the further back I get, the less clearly I can see. So I might be able to see that there's something here, but I can't actually see the details. I can just see that there is something there. And sometimes when we see things in our peripheral vision, we don't see them fully. They can look scary. It's like when you see a shadow. Sometimes the shadow can look scarier than the actual thing because it's magnified or it's skewed or it's distorted. The same thing can happen when you need to pivot in life. You may not necessarily need to take a step forward. That might not be what it is. You may just need to pivot and turn slightly so that you can see clearly the things that were distorted in your peripheral vision and get a really good look at what they look like, or that side, or whatever side it happens to be. And many times in life we don't want to pivot because we have an idea of the steps that we're going to take, of where we're going, of what we're going to do, what we want to achieve, and how we think in our mind that that's how that's going to go. But the thing is this, when you go to do something new or something different, we won't know the steps necessarily that you need to take. We may think we do because we've seen what somebody else did, or there's a plan that's set out that says, you know, it goes like this, but nothing really ever goes to plan, right? Because everyone's plan's different. So pivoting is important because sometimes just by pivoting and seeing what's over here, you may be able to take that information and move forward that way. You may be able to take that information and move forward that way. That may then lead you to turn over this way and go that way and take a combination of moves to get the information all around you before you go forward, or before you go left, or you go right, or in some cases, and I've had this a couple of times in my life, before you take a journey back to where you've just come from for whatever reason. But because you pivoted and got extra information, you're taking that information back with you now. And it's like I always talk about the game levels in a game. Sometimes you can speed through the levels and get to level 10 and realise that if you hadn't have sped through, in level 2, there was as I call the ruby slippers, the extra something that you could have picked up as an extra that you didn't need then, but you need in level 10. And so you have to go back to level 2 and go all the way through again and look in the nooks and crannies and pivot away from the normal path that you took to find that hidden extra from level 2 that you now need in level 10. So, but we get stuck on how we think things are going to be. And we get stuck on standing in the spot that we said. And I said I was going to be here, so I'm going to stand here. What will people think if I pivot? What will people say? Does that mean I was wrong? It will look stupid. I'll look silly. I'll look like I don't know what I'm doing. So we stand and we don't pivot and we don't take in the extra information. And we keep going forward, even though a part of us will tell us either where we're going to is wrong, or we don't have enough information to be able to step confidently into the next steps because we haven't gathered everything that was around us together. I hope this makes sense. So many things are happening in my life right now because I chose to stand still and look around at what was around me rather than what was ahead of me, or in my absolute vision, or in my steps that I had decided that were going to be this, this, and this. And the reason for that is because I listened to my intuition that told me, even though what you think is you want to happen seems impossible, it's actually possible. And I was like, I don't understand how it's possible. So I stood still and I looked and I pivoted and I turned to what was around me. And what I needed was around me all along. It just needed me to recognise it and have a conversation with it, with a person, put myself out there in a certain place, speak up about what I really wanted as opposed to saying, oh, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good, yeah, life's good. No. I asked about some possibilities, and that has now allowed me to be able to step sideways and around, and I believe that has actually taken 2 steps out of my forward plan that I had. That pivot sideways is actually going to land me up on, say, step 7 instead of step 4 when I come around, because I chose to look at what was around me rather than what was in front of me and what the circumstances looked like. So I want to encourage you to do the same. Not everything is nothing is set in stone, to be fair. All we have is now, right? All we have is now. We can talk about the future, we can plan for the future, we can do everything for the future. But if the last 5 years have taught us anything, it is this. The future is, we can't control the future. We can't control how it's going to look, how it's going to be, how we're going to expand into the next things. Some people are in sure things in their life, and then that sure thing ends and they have no way to get through that because they had the plan all worked out and suddenly the plan didn't come together. But it's actually asking you to stand still and look around you, because there's opportunities around you that are much better than the plan you had to move forward. We have more control than we think, and that control comes from controlling ourselves and how we act and react to things. And so if we can stop enough to take a deep breath and ask an inward question of ourselves and stop and look around us and dare to move our feet and move our hips and move ourselves to pivot, to look around and make sure we're checking out our surroundings, you might find everything that you want is actually there, and you just have to reach out and touch it. Okay, hope that's helpful. Thank you for watching. If you think that this information can help somebody in your life, please feel free to share this information with them. Share the video. If you like this kind of content, you're into a bit of metaphorical stuff, a bit of, not really rambling, but sort of rambling information, please feel free to subscribe. I've got videos coming all the time on all sorts of things that I intuitively get hits about, or things that I talk to people about that I find are common in conversations, or things that I find are commonalities in people that I coach. And I like to share those because I started Smarting Coaching with the motto of, if I can help one person today, if I can help just one person today. So maybe you're that one person. Okay, thank you for spending time with me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.